Let's talk Tanya for the 12th of Adar. Yesterday we spoke about the joy that comes from identifying with the soul and contemplating the unity of God. And when we understand the unity of God and God, how He is omnipresent, present everywhere in everything, in every experience, the closeness that we have with God. And this brings us to simcha, this brings us to joy. In today's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe tells us that actually this joy we speak about every single morning in our davening, in our prayer. We say, and I'll read it for you. We say every morning, Ashreinu, how fortunate we are, Matoiv Chalkeinu, Umanoim Gorilenu, Umayafa Yerushasenu. How wonderful is our lot, how sweet, how wonderful is our portion, how sweet is our lot, and how beautiful is our inheritance. And what is our inheritance? So we continue. Ashreinu, how fortunate are we? Shanu mashkimim marivim erev avoiker va'imrim pamayim b'chol yom shema Yisrael. How fortunate are we that we wake up every single day and we say the Shema, and also before we go to sleep at night, we say the Shema also. So what is the source of our fortune, of our inheritance? That is the Shema Yisrael, which is, Hear, O Israel, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, the understanding, the unity of God, the oneness of God, which by now we understand means the nearness of God, because God is everywhere and in everything. And the Alter Rebbe points out, we talk about this as a Yerusha, as an inheritance. We say, Umayafa Yerushasenu, how beautiful is our inheritance. Why is this called an inheritance? The uniqueness of an inheritance is that it's a great fortune, but we have not earned it, we have not worked for it. Sometimes there's a joy, which is an earned joy. So for example, in chapter 31, the happiness that we were talking about over there was from doing a mitzvah. When we do a mitzvah, the joy that we experience afterwards, that's not a Yerusha, that's not an inheritance, that's something that we earned. And then there's something that we didn't earn, something that we inherited. The idea of Achdus Hashem, the idea of God's unity, and the resulting closeness we have to Hashem, that is an article of faith that we inherited from our forefathers. We didn't earn it, we didn't work for it. All we have to do is tap into it, tune into that faith, and suddenly we're able to experience this incredible joy of intimacy with God. The Alter Rebbe says that there was a prophet whose name was Habakkuk, and the Talmud tells us that Habakkuk came along and said, the most important mitzvah is faith in God. The verse, Habakkuk says, Tzadik be'emunasa yichya, a tzaddik lives with his faith in God. Now we need to understand what that means, because as we know as Jews, ha'maisa huwa ikar, in Judaism, we put the most emphasis on action, on mitzvahs. How can we say faith is the most important thing? But the Alter Rebbe says what he means is, when a Jew truly has faith and truly believes in God's unity and God's closeness, the joy that comes from that is such an incredibly powerful joy. Yichya, it brings us to life, and we have the energy needed to do all the mitzvahs. So what makes faith so important is that it is the impetus for doing all the mitzvahs, because the joy that it produces gives us the energy to be able to battle the animal soul and be able to do all the 612 mitzvahs, the other ones besides for faith. Tomorrow, we will be talking about another meditation related to what we're talking about today, which also leads us to simcha, to joy, to positive emotions.